Oh.
I love that we have our like logo in there now instead of like the little swirlies. And
yeah.
Every week you surprise me.
Oh, I know. I mean, we definitely test it to the limits week in and week out.
And then you got Mrs. Inept with computers, just messing everything up.
Yeah,
so folks, we're late because of me.
Yeah, I'm just going to go out on the record here. Audio-visual. I have an audio-visual career as well, and Kellen's definitely challenging my reputation. So.
Oh my God! Excuse me.
No, so yeah, I mean, if I would have had my phone on me, I would have known she needed some tech support. I just thought she was catching Alan Perez's.
Well, I was listening to that on my phone. Well, I'm trying to log in and it says no video access. And I'm like, well, this will be a heck of a live without video access, right?
Well, if we're getting down to it, I was going to FaceTime you in this way.
I was thinking about that. Maybe I should just like call in. But no, well, we made it through. And with your help, because I wouldn't have known which buttons to push in each of those little areas you sent me to.
Yeah, so. I mean, we almost lost our guest. He
so we better get this quick.
He took off, you know.
He's well, and it's super early for him too. So, well, let's get right into it.
I'm pretty sure he was getting a double espresso to deal with us.
He literally drove to go get one and came back. But Coach Phil is a mutual friend. We met him during another one of our Megamind COVID relationships that we built. Amazing man. You got to actually meet him, but you can talk about that more when we bring him on. But he's a FocalPoint business performance coach. He's a facilitator, trainer, advocate for those who want to use their passion, positivity, and personal excellence to create, obtain, and exceed their success. And my God, he does this. I'm not going to, I mean, this is the first guest that I'm aware of where there are so many accolades and awards that we would, if I named them all, he wouldn't have time to talk on the show.
No, we're going to go look at his page. I mean, it is loaded up. So we're going to go look at that at some point today. But
the most exciting thing was, and I think this is when you met him, is when he won the Brian Tracy Award for Sales Excellence. And I can't wait to talk about that.
No, I mean, Brian Tracy, affiliate your name with Brian Tracy.
I know.
Award and excellence. I mean,
after that, I'm surprised he even talks to the two of us anymore. So
now, I mean, Brian Tracy felt the same way about Coach Phil as well. Of course,
yes.
You know, he said, well,
he was in awe.
Yeah, I mean,
speechless
to be associated with Coach Phil as well. So, take nothing away, but Coach Phil, I actually was on his show earlier this week.
Yeah, I know you guys are great.
Business Renovator. We did a little test run, and the main mistake is we didn't invite you for the test run. So
I was on a panel on his show earlier too. So I think Monday. So we were on with him. So we have some kind of symmetry there. Let's bring him on.
Yeah, let's get him. He's like
he may be gone. I don't know, folks. If he's not here.
You're right. I had time to go to Timmy's and get a coffee.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to let everybody know you're a Canadian, right? So, I mean, no Starbucks.
No.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Phil. I'm so sorry.
No, I had time to go for coffee. It was good. See, that's one of the keys.
You call me, you text me in the morning. Are we still on? I'm like, yeah. And you're like, okay, I'll get ready. And when you sent me that message, I was on my computer trying to get in. It's like, oh my gosh. I'm never going to turn my computer off. That's all there is. So, Mr. Award of Excellence, how's that changed your life a little? Has it?
I'm grateful to get it. I was totally surprised to have anything of that stature. It was there's some things you have to do to achieve it, and to be selected out of a group of highly efficacious individuals from around the globe as part of our company. It's awesome. And then I get to be the co-host on another show Wednesday with this same guy. Oh, it's Brian Tracy. And we're going to be talking about Eat That Frog.
Wow.
I love that. You gave me one of those little notebooks, a blank notebook. I still have it with all my important notes.
So if you want to catch Brian live,
Ribbit.
Wednesday, 2:00 Eastern time. I never thought to give you the link to that. Oh, bad.
Well, if you tell me, and I'll type it in at some point. We'll come back to it.
I'll go find it.
So we have a different kind of author with us today because, normally we talk with. Oh, we forgot to plug ourselves, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's a good book.
I think we lost our time for that today, Kellen.
I know. I still have that cough. It's so annoying. But Phil, what would you call your authorship style? I mean, it's not a physical book that we hold, but I downloaded it. I'm like, holy wow, this is a great book.
Yeah, it's an education kind of book in talking about some things that people don't know. It's the concept of it could be called The Way to Wealth, which Brian Tracy has a series of books on. Other companies, organizations would call it the 5-step profit formula. What it's all about is helping people identify 8 strategies to leverage and really compound their activity in terms of running their business. Like more leads, higher conversion rates, proper pricing, all those kind of things, bundling, upselling, and don't discount. It talks about all those things that some people don't even know about. So, and it was I didn't write it by myself. I didn't create the formula, but the formula is magical if it's implemented. So I just wanted to get it out there. So it's on my webpage. Not that particular one, but that one.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you can go there and get a copy of it. It's a digital book, and it has a lot of great value. And it's a short read, but powerful content. And if you were to take those and do them on a regular basis over a period of 12 months, you can increase your profit by 62.5%.
I love the number. I love statistics.
Yeah, I'm sure you have that in your book. You use very specific facts, right?
Yeah,
in your sales copy. So I love it.
And there's examples of different industries, so you get an idea what they've done and the difference between good ad and a bad ad. How to actually talk about your business, like what's the problem your ideal customer has that they don't want, and what's the solution they're looking for and they can't seem to find. So when you can show up and talk like that, then you're going to get people you to give you energy and not take energy, and you're going to have success with them. And if you have success with them, what are they going to do? Hopefully, they're going to be raving fans and talk about what you do.
Exactly.
Is there a certain size business this book's ideal for? Does this apply to all business types?
Well, it could apply from small to big, but my happy space is small to medium size. We have a way to help support any kind of business. The big thing is speaking English. My system is not multilingual. It's only English.
Okay.
Oh, wait, it's not Canadian?
Yeah, it's not American either. It's English.
It's Western Canadian, right?
I'm even funny under stress.
How to reduce stress? Use humor.
Yes.
It's magical.
Well, you have some other roots other than Canada, Coach, don't you?
Right.
Yeah.
The original. Hello. Yes. Yes. I never had that accent. I was always like the working class. So when I went back as a kid the last time I went back as a kid, I was 9. Went there and they called me an American, so I'm Canadian but born in England. So I didn't want to be called a Yankee. No offense to my American friends, but young kid, I was angry, didn't even want to go back. I beat up the vicar's son. The vicar is the priest, the pastor. My mom was not happy, but I wasn't. I was an angry 9-year-old anyway. By the time I got back, we only stayed for 364 days because if you stay longer, then you have to reapply to become a Canadian, whatever we were, immigrant, I guess, at the time. Anyway, we came back, and I came back with an accent, and people there back in Canada said, "Oh my God, I can't understand you." So as a kid, we assimilate to the environment so much quicker than adults. But as we become adults, the actions stick and our habits stick, and that's why I love what I do, because I help people find ways to get unstuck. So one of my passions in and around what I do, whether it's writing a book or being a coach or mentor, is to help people stop underliving and grow into their potential. So that's the mission and path I'm on personally. And anybody wants to come along with me, that's my ideal client. And if that's not you, then I'm not the guy for you. I know a bunch of others I can introduce you to, though.
So, Coach, I know a lot of people, that we talk to about their book is driven by something from childhood or another experience. What led you to being a coach or going down this path? How did that develop for you?
That's an interesting question. I guess I've kind of always been a coach without even knowing it. When I was younger, I've been a serial entrepreneur since grade 4.
Oh, wow.
I grew up in a family where my parents were working their butts off and thought hard work was the magic key, which I found out it's not. Ask the fly trying to get out of your house, bashing itself up against the glass window. It does not have the critical mass to break the window. It's not a very good strategy. And we didn't know any better. So when I asked for money, they said, what do you think we are? Made of money? You think it grows on tree? All those things, right? So I wanted something, and I wished I could remember what the heck it was. It was probably a chocolate bar for, at that age, but I don't know what it was. Anyway, I came back and I said to them, can I borrow a lawnmower? And they said, sure. So I went door to door. I started a little landscaping company. Okay, I cut grass, but I was in grade 4. So to me, it was a landscaping company. And that's where it all started for me. And then along the way, I wanted to know how this thing works. So I had a fascination with it. So I had a printing business that I was partners with. I didn't have the confidence to tell the old guys, senior partners, I think we were working too hard for way too little money. And I was kind of trying to stay married. And anyway, I got a number of people suggested to me they said, have you ever thought of being in sales? I went, wow, that's kind of interesting. So they introduced me to some things along the way that helped me get to where I am today. And that was cassettes. That's how long ago it was. Oh my God, yeah. And they suggested Toastmasters. So J. Douglas Edwards, The Art of Closing, or Art of Asking Questions is what it was called. And then I'm McFarland, I can't remember his first name, about talking and presenting. And so that was the start of my journey. And along the way, I ended up eventually liking speaking. At first, I hated it. I was scared. Can we say the shit word? Oh, I already did.
I said it a lot before the show.
Okay. I was scared shitless. I went to the Toastmaster meeting, and I was really quiet like a mouse, afraid to talk. But the guys that I was there with were really great people. And I finally did the first talk, and they took a break over the summer. I never went back. I was so afraid. But I got over that by having people coach and mentor, so that I wanted to do the same thing. So I could go on and on and on, but that was the start of where I got my interest in coaching. And I've coached athletes, salespeople, entrepreneurs, leaders, people wanting to career change. I don't do that anymore, but I did do that as well.
Well, I'm going to put a plug in for you, Coach. I've known you about 2.5 years, 3 years now.
Almost 3.
3. But every single interaction I've had with you, you've coached me. Without it is just it's just your essence. Every time we're on a phone, every time we're on a FaceTime, whatever, in a group setting, Coach Phil has a gem every single time. And it's not like you're not interjecting it with like, hey, I'm the coach here. It's like literally like it's just part of your essence at every turn. And
it's natural. It's so natural. Like it's not a forced, like I'm going to teach you this. You just slide it in right at the right time.
Well, that's what I was like after our podcast with you earlier this week. I'm like, do I need to send you money? Because
I take tips.
I'm like, how did he just coach me while I'm a guest on his show? But I love it. So,
well, that's wonderful to hear.
It's true though. I love our conversations. They're not as often as we used to have them during, the pandemic and everything. But when I do get those little tidbits from you, it's always appreciated. So I always ask the question is when you back to the book, is there anything that you wish you'd done differently or knew before you decided to do the digital version of your book?
Wow. That's a great question. Maybe have made it available sooner and told people about it more often. It's not a book for everybody. If you don't own a business, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
If you own a business and you want to look at ways to sharpen your axe, polish the gem, whatever it is your metaphor you want to use, it's got a great bunch of things. Like, for example, if the beginning of it, we talk about more leads. So when I have a coaching session, I ask people how many leads do they have on a monthly basis, and they'll tell them, say 50 and 50. And how many of those convert to customers? And they go, well, they all do. And I said, no, okay, wait a minute. Those are customers? That's not a lead. A lead is a bigger number. And what percentage of those turn into customers or clients or patients? So they're great technicians, whether there be a dentist, a veterinarian, chiropractor, HVAC contractor, printer. They really know their craft really, really well. And some of them really know the marketing and sales side too. So probably not a good fit for me. But the ones that are wanting to stop trading hours for money, then this formula, the profit growth calculator that we have in that book, will help them. And they can get it free from that particular website. Just fill in the information. It's available to you there. And if you want to find out more about it, you could, once you read it, if you get stuck, let me know. If you're not stuck, run with it. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that there's the old school book, the E-Myth, which kind of digs into that, but I don't think it gives you any path forward.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, I've identified that I'm a practitioner specialist, and you've helped me identify that, but you've not told me how to actually get out of that problem as a business owner. So I think that's where your book really would be helpful to, so I'm a dentist. I need more bookings. I'm not running a tight business, and I know that. How do I get out of this problem? So
right. And then if you go to the next step, if you know how many leads you get, people that are getting eyeballs on your story, whether they connect with you or not, what's your conversion rate?
Right.
And then, because I think radio is a great place to advertise and tell your story, but no, I really think it is a good place. I think a lot of great places are part of the system to tell your story. What happens though is a lot of people that I've bumped into want to get on the radio, and I asked them why they don't get on the radio. Well, people hear us and they'll buy more stuff and yada yada yada. That can happen with radio, but radio is not there to close the appointment, and not to convert them. It's there to heighten awareness. And then there's a call to action. And then how do you manage that call to action? So if you haven't trained your people to know what the special is or the offer or whatever you're promoting in your radio spot, then you're wasting all of your dollars on the radio spot. And if you just have something that talks about, we've been in business for 35 years. We're over on the east side, and we really like helping people. Well, that's kind of all about who cares how much in there. What's the problem you solve that I have that I don't want, and how do I quickly get it done? How do I know you were able to help me? So that needs to be in your 30 to 60 second spot. Mm-hmm. And once that's done, the phone's going to ring, your inbox is going to explode with interested people. And then what? Well, if you don't have your people trained to handle that, to recognize that came from the radio and what to do, there could be a disconnect there. So it's not just one and done. There's a whole strategic process for everybody.
Thanks for translating live.
Yes, thanks
it's AI. Sorry to interrupt you, Coach.
So yeah, there is a little bit of strategy to telling your story. We all need to tell our story, and 80% of what we do doesn't convert into business. So you want to make sure that the 20% that's possibly out there is going to reach in and want to have a conversation with you. And then you've got all those other things you need to do is be the technician that you are to provide the service that you're promoting.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Do you recommend people bring in third-party practitioners of the sales process, or do you encourage them to learn that for themselves? What?
I'm nodding to both.
Yeah.
On the situation, right? I have a relationship with a fellow. He's specializes in being a fractional sales manager.
Okay.
So, for a certain size business, he'll go in, be the guy that stays on top of your sales team, so they do what they need to do while you can run your business. Because selling is an art and a science, and if you're not very good at it, then it could be costing you money. And what's it costing you by not investing and having somebody do that? So I have that as an offering. I don't do that myself. I would be in the camp of training, coaching, and facilitating and elevating your guys and coaching the sales managers to manage their team. So depending on what's the best fit, I would make a recommendation to my buddy Phil, funny enough, it's his name. Or maybe it might be best suited that you hang out with me and we do some things. I'm just wrapping up a session with a company out of Toronto, and doing it from that point of view of coach facilitating and working on that. So we do both.
Yeah. Well, this may be a legal question that you don't want to put on the record. Are you able to work across into the U.S., or do you work exclusively in Canada? Or
I have to take the fifth.
All right.
Oh, we don't have the fifth in Canada.
Well, we'll lend it to you.
Okay, good. Well, because of the virtuality of stuff, the borders are less restrictive.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on how the situation is. But having said that, I have American peers. So if that somebody requires what we do, then I just make an introduction to one of my American brothers or sisters, and they can handle the opportunity. So everybody can be looked after, even in the UK, Australia. I can't remember all the places.
Yeah, it's a fantastic network. I've known there is a variety of coaching networks out there, but I think FocalPoint definitely has much more seasoned, higher end offerings, in my opinion, over the years that I've noticed. I have some affiliation with the coaching industry as well.
Right. And it's powered by Brian Tracy, and he's done a lot of research on for years now. I think he's up to 90 books. I might ask him that on Wednesday.
That's a great question.
He might tell us.
Would you mind asking him if he's available for the spotlight?
I could ask.
Sure.
He'll be right next to him. And I promise I'll be on time.
And the technology will work, yada, yada, yada.
Oh, I hate technology. Okay, speaking live versus I know when we met, you were doing some Zoom trainings with that one big company, and live trainings. Which one do you like better?
I like them both for different reasons. So because we're now able to do both, we have the options now. So I actually do a hybrid. So I'm going to the same company later this next month, like tomorrow's a new month, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the middle part of the month, to do a 2-day training on leadership coaching to help them develop their coaching conversation and language, when to coach, when to tell, and how to know when to do what. So we're just wrapping up two groups actually that started in the spring, and we're starting another group just in October. So 2 days of that will be live, and then the continuation in coaching is virtual. So that way they get constant space repetition. Yeah. So I like both.
Very cool.
There's advantages. The economics are better for the continuation or constant space repetition, just to have somebody physically there. There's more cost involved.
Right. That makes sense.
No, I think there's just a lot of opportunity. The hybrid approach is very powerful. Me being part of my career is in the event space, and I think there's no right answer for how to deliver now. There's just more opportunity. You can do in person to elevate the experience, but then you can provide more access with the virtual option.
Right.
So in a way that you never could before.
I was doing virtual before virtual was popular. And we all kind of were. If you did teleconferencing or a webinar training before, COVID made it more necessary, I guess is the word. But I remember my first stint working with a company across Canada, and they were all east to west. They were in every province. And I never know who they were because we just did a teleconference. That was tough because I was like, I'm trying to talk to you and this is what I see. Yeah, so who was that? I think that sounds like Heather. Oh, I'm sorry, Diane. It was hard. Right. So.
Yeah, it was funny. We had a conference line that we had just re-upped like in March of 2020 for our company, and then all of a sudden I realized we didn't use it once from March 2020 to April 2020 or 21. It shifted like that. It was something we used every day, that conference line, and then it became a non-thing in a week. So, but yeah, I mean, I think, the evolution of content delivery, I do remember those days of everything being freeconferenceline.com or all those different ways to deliver teleconferences, and now we can do it at such a higher level here. And I think the pandemic, like you said, you were doing it before, but the pandemic gave us up there, it just accelerated the product so much, and we can do what we're doing here. I mean, this product wasn't really even available, what we're doing here prior to the pandemic, but now it's just something we do on the fly, and it's something we do at 10:10 in the morning, and we troubleshoot on the way in.
That's right. We drive away for coffee and come back, and we're still here.
Okay, stop it. Okay.
Now I did miss your call, Kellen, because I was hanging up laundry in my basement at the time. That's how concerned I was about our podcast today. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay, fine.
So you can blame me.
I'm going to be here so freaking early next week.
I'm going to bring you guys back to the theme of your show. It's all about writing. And I wanted to share something with you that, I don't know, about 7 years ago, I had a coach friend and mentor. Now we're business partners working on another project. And he lives near where you is, Kellen. He lives in Georgia. And he was saying to me, Phil, you should write, contribute to our newsletter because you have some really interesting things to talk about. Oh, yeah, no, I don't want to do it. I don't like writing. And he persisted, and he kept nudging, and he kept prodding. And eventually I said, okay, I'll commit to 90 days. I will write one article a month for 90 days and see where it goes. 7 years later, I'm still writing. But it gets even interesting because AI comes out. I've been using AI to write copy and headlines and whatnot for my own show, The Business Renovator. And what I'm doing is leveraging AI to give me the ideas. So that I don't necessarily go 100% with what AI does, but it's like having my non-judgmental mastermind brainstorming buddy. And in that process, what it allowed me to do is then start writing longer things. And then I get an idea, or I read somebody else's article, and I don't want to plagiarize it, and I don't want to just send it out. It inspired me to write something. So me and my buddy get together. I grab a cup of coffee. I only have to buy one. It's great because AI doesn't like coffee. He knows it's not healthy. Smart partner I have. Anyway, and he's always there whenever I need him. And I plunk it in there. So making a long story short, the end of the 7-year period, which is about now, in September, I realized in the newsletter, there was 3 articles published in September's edition of it. By me, Andy, not just we had 3 articles in it. I wrote 3 of them. Wait, it gets more. There's a whole series that's going to go on for part of it for 7 months. So it was one every month for the next little bit. And then I get inspired by another idea, and I go to my buddy, grab a coffee, go to AI and write another one. And I'd send it off to the editor publisher, and I'd say, hey, is this suitable for? And he says, yeah, it'll be in November. So nice. My writing muscle has gotten stronger, and it's helped me write copy for the training. I also have ways to make sure that I'm not plagiarizing anybody because I don't want to steal anybody's verbiage. And if there is, like, some things I can't avoid, and actually sometimes it's best to put in, like if it shows up and there's a link that takes them to something deeper, better, and brighter than I offer, I leave that in there.
Right.
Get the credit for it. So it's like showing up and providing content with value. And it doesn't cost anybody anything. And I actually I'm kind of having fun doing it. And one of the other authors that you were over there talking to his group in London a little while. I think you had 2 trips there. There's some things in his book, 17, that came out of the pandemic and his inspiration and his motivation and his drive that I use in my own life. And that's the rule of 17. So writing is kind of magical, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. The rule of 17 is amazing. Yeah. He's actually our first guest, the first week of November. So.
Oh, that's very good.
He just confirmed.
You know what I did? I was
sent the email yesterday.
I had him on whenever I had him on, but I shifted it so it was on the 17th of the month. Clever, huh?
Yeah,
I thought so.
Yeah,
Phil, you're always thinking. You always got the angle.
I would have had it on the 17th month, and I realized there isn't.
Did you ask ChatGPT that?
I gave him the 17th copy of my book.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. Okay.
You brought up I just love what you brought up.
Yeah.
I mean, there's about 4 shows that we could do in just what you just brought up there, Coach.
Mhm.
You brought up AI. You brought up writing a newsletter on a regular basis. You brought up curating content, which I think is a powerful thing in today's world. Is we aren't all the experts on every single thing. So, and that's part of the whole ecosystem of social media is that, hey, I didn't write this, but I read it. I think it's fantastic. Here's my thoughts on it. But feel free to go look at Coach Phil's take on it, because that's the real deep dive. And I think there's a lot of value. And so if I like you, Coach Phil, and I like the way you think, I'm probably going to like the people you read and the people that you follow. So I think that's a value proposition to me to come and look at what you're saying and saying, well, who does Coach Phil follow? I know Lou Tice is one of your mentors and somebody that so it's like, oh, I'm going to go read Lou Tice as well. So I think, you hit like 3 or 4 major things in that. I'm going to toss this out to you. I think, I often coach people on when it comes to writing a book, I'll be like, well, do you write any kind of articles regularly? Do you write newsletters? And they're like, oh yeah, I do this monthly, or I have an article in our company newsletter each month. And I'm like, well, you've probably written a book already.
Right.
You just don't know it.
Or if you journal.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is all of the sales training I've done over the years, pre-COVID and during COVID and after COVID, they're all recorded. So but I don't have the patience, not drive, but patience to go through all of that minutia and write it the way it should be. So if I was going to take that and I'd need to partner up with somebody who loves to do that stuff. And then maybe there's a book there. Using AI just for...
I already have an idea for it, Coach Phil.
What's
go
that?
for it.
I'll go for it.
Dropbox, up to a gigabyte size file will auto transcribe it. And you can grab that transcription and run it through ChatGPT and have it summarize your content down.
Well, there you go. I might just do that one day, get some coffee, sit here and do that. I often find when I do get in the writing mode, it's early in the day. It's kind of around the 5, 6 o'clock in the morning part of the day. It's where my energy is for that kind of creativity is the highest, and it lasts for about 2 hours. And if I stop and turn the TV on or put on music not so bad, but TV, that's it, I'm done. So I avoid the TV like a plague, unless it's football on Sunday or hockey on any other day.
Do you write every single day, or do you schedule time? What's your approach to writing? I know you just mentioned the time of day. Are you an inspired writer?
Yeah, I'm more inspired. I don't have it plotted out and do it like with a plan and with diligence so that every day I'm going to write 15 minutes. Yep. I don't do that. I've not tried it. I've heard about it, but I've not tried it. Typically, if I'm going to block time and allocate a couple of hours, it's on a weekend, Saturday and Sundays. That's where I get a lot of it done. So when I wrote the 12 articles that were written in August, published some in September, 3 in the newsletter, 1 in I think 1 made October, and then 1 made November. So, and then the other ones, the series of that will make the other months following on. But what I like about that is it's done. It supports what I'm doing. I was able to leverage what I wrote in the newsletter that I've repurposed, or was part of purposing the training I'm doing around sales to modify it, modernize it, and make it relevant to the group I'm speaking to. It was the same philosophy around there's only 6 real objections, or 6 buckets to objections. 2 of them are technical, so those are 1 bucket, but it's 2 different areas. So it's product related, service related, that kind of thing. And the other one is need, budget, relationship, and time. And if we know what we have to not defeat objections, that's really kind of a cheesy kind of way of selling, I think. But if we understand what things could show up, then we're going to be more professional, more prepared, more at ease, conversational like, and it's not like selling at all. Not the selling that people don't like about selling, but it's actually professional selling, because we've internalized all of the things in the buckets, and we've got a way to help people make the right decision in a comfortable, no stress kind of mindset. So that came out of a need for modernizing the training. And then with that, I thought, well, this is like, could be every month we could have a series. So the first one starts out with an overview of what it's all about. And then every month, each bucket's talked about.
Very cool.
No, I think, and that's another technique too, is just having a progressive article. People really don't consume things well in today's world. So,
and there's so much information.
So chunking it down for us, and so that we don't.
Well, there's a time constraint. We don't have time to read this 50-page article, but if you give it to us in little snippets, it's like we get to enjoy the knowledge.
And I've been playing around with the newsletter side of things, including little snippets, taking the article that was written and then using another form of AI that creates a video. And then it's a 2 to 3 minute video explainer, teller, talker, whatever they call it. It tells the same message, but there's a little bit of music and there's a voice over, and often, and there's you can read the text. So depending on how your learning style is, or how you're reading, or your consumption style is, it speaks to a couple of them.
Well, and I think that's you just, like I said, you just keep unpacking things, Coach.
Like, where do we send the money?
Because most people are consuming. Also, just technically speaking, people are consuming content on their phones. It's probably not always the best reading environment, or they're in their car, unfortunately, driving, trying to read. So if you gave them an audio version that you can listen to, that gives you another form of media to be able to actually consume your article. So I think, writing, what about, this is a good question. We should ask this one. This should be our question. Is listening to a book, an audio book, equivalent to reading the audio book, or reading the book in print?
No. But I do both.
Okay.
Because to your point, driving and trying to read the book, watch out for moose on the road, because I'm in Canada. Moose.
We're going to take the fifth. None of us do that.
No, I heard about it.
Yeah.
But that's not really a safe thing to do. So to take an audio book of some sort, whether it's from that company or some other source, because there's a variety of ways you can get them. Listening to it is good. Can't take notes very easily. However, it still goes in our brain. Mm-hmm. And if I like listening to it enough, I will buy the book. So authors, you get the double dip, because I buy both. And the reason I buy both is because I want to go back, mark up, make comments, and really get it into my head and put it into a journal, extract the nuggets out of there. And usually I have one of my journals with me.
Wait, he's going to leave. Our tradition continues.
I have some journals. There's a piratey. Where's my camera? There's a piratey looking one.
Yeah, that's nice.
And this is the one I'm using currently. And I just like, this is the one I took to when I went to LA to hang out with Grammy. Yeah. So
I'm trying to get him on our show. I just finished his book. Oh.
So I just write in different colors, and I write randomly. So to do that driving, it doesn't make sense. No. So I utilize both. And I think it depends on your learning style. Some people say they can't stand reading a book for whatever. I mean, ADD people, maybe that's not good for them. Or I know people that are I can't say it, but dyslexic. That's right. That's the word. And so trying to read a book is a challenge for them. But listening to it, they can do. So I think it really, whatever strategy works for you, getting in the content and information that was going to support you and where you're trying to get to it and to get to your goals is the yes to both.
If I can pull it together, I'll read the book and listen to it at the same time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then I can write. So in school, I don't know if you guys were told, do not write in your textbooks. Remember that? And I have gone like on the other side. I write, highlight, sticky note. All my books are just, they look like hot messes. But I want to remember certain parts and things like that.
I wanted to
it's okay to leave, because our guests usually get up and get out of their chair.
Okay, wait, I'll be right back.
Yeah, you got to go run. I think while Coach is grabbing stuff, one thing I actually like listening to a book that I've read, because I do think, obviously it's using different parts of your brain. It hits you differently. And so it's a whole different experience, and the content, you get to experience the content multiple ways. And I do think it actually sits in deeper. Coach is back.
This is the first version of Think and Grow Rich I ever had.
Oh,
it
wow.
was so thick that I
is
couldn't open up the pages, so I had it Surlock bound. The Surlock binding was so old and was made out of plastic and eventually fatigued, so it's not even healthy. I use a bulldog clip. But to your point,
I'm going to send you some zip ties, Coach.
Yeah, I'm going to send you some
double-sided tape. Right in your textbooks.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I want to buy that from you. I would like that. I want that copy with all of your notes in it.
It's priceless.
Well, that's a hard moment, right?
That is cool. I love that.
So I love this about our show, because a lot of people, when they think authors, they think book that you read. But there are so many different types of authors.
Book.
There's technical writers. There's, like what Coach Phil does. He has a digital book. They have people that write articles for newsletters, for magazines, for, content, for, writing is not just a book. And that's what we wanted to kind of show today, especially with you, Coach Phil, because you're like one of the best examples of, digital, technical, educational. So I'm trying to keep up to you for being so late.
Thanks, Pug Mom.
Pug Lady 72 or what?
It says 3 Pug Mom.
3 Pug Mom. Yeah.
Right. That's it right here.
Yeah. That weather.
There we go.
Training to look at. I'm on the right spot. Oops. All right. I'm right here.
There you are.
Yeah, we got
Thank you for having such a nice background for our logo.
Yeah, we have some updates for it in the future, but you showed up with the right background.
Yeah, so it saved my butt this week yet again.
I'm actually using this background for my own show.
I like it. I noticed that. I'm like, I like it.
With the branding of the show on that was on there twice. I thought it's kind of
I know it looks really good.
So I kind of like this one better.
Pop. So my normal question is, I know what I know seriously we're late, but if you have time for a few more questions.
Yeah, I'm good. It's like
mine is.
I mean, he's normally not even up before now anyway on Saturday.
True. I'm glad the coffee place was open that early.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad you guys took as long as you did, gave me time to come back.
Well, we would have started without you. It wouldn't be the first time we had an empty chair. So my business is gratitude. How has gratitude helped you? Do you feel in your success?
Wow, that's.
We're asking you a lot of good questions, aren't we?
Yeah. So gratitude. I think. Have you seen the old lady, young lady obstacle illusion?
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And when you look at that, can you see both?
Yes.
At the same time?
No.
So if you're in a state of gratitude, you can't think about all the quagmire and all the crap and all the shit that's going on.
Exactly.
And when you're in a state of gratitude, you're only looking at what you're grateful for. And gratitude doesn't have to be anything more than just the thoughts you have in your head around, hey, I'm grateful for this chair I have. I'm grateful for this technology I have. I'm grateful that I have coffee. I'm grateful that I was invited to this event. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be on the right spot light and sharing. I'm grateful that people think what I say makes sense. Oh, I could go on. I'm grateful that we had the pandemic for all the weird, strange kind of things, because I wouldn't have met you guys.
Right.
And I'm grateful that Brian's the kind of dude that, and if I had had my plans organized properly, Kelly would be the kind of dudette that would have showed up and met me in Cincinnati as well. But I didn't. And what I'm grateful for is we're still talking, and we're going to make it happen in another place in the U.S. in April next year. Hotel's booked. Yes. I think I have my flight. I just have to book my flights for when I'm coming out, coming and going. So I'll let you know what that is, Kellen, and then you can come if you really want to come.
I will. I was willing to drive 8 hours?
Yeah.
I think I was the one that started to catch up the. Isn't Coach Phil leaving on Friday morning?
You noticed it.
I think I was the one who figured that out. I think.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I'd be gone, and Kellen's just getting here. That wouldn't be very fair.
I'm like, do you really want to drive 8 hours to meet me for coffee?
I would.
Yeah, I know you would. But the goal was to meet with Coach Phil. So
Yeah, I messed that one up.
That's
but that is a highlight. I should have had that picture here, but we do have a picture of when we met. I'll have to bring that up on another day. But no, I mean that's been. I'm grateful for that too. Thanks. I think the opportunity to just have these friendships that have extended well beyond anything we could have ever imagined.
Great.
And way beyond business and professional. It's like friendships, true.
Yeah, and some things we're not allowed to talk about.
No.
But I did learn about something when I was in Cincinnati. I had this paradigm or this mindset, this belief. First time I ever experienced bourbon, I had a client who had bought a new home for me, and he brought me a high-end bottle of bourbon. I'd never had it before. So I eventually opened it and tasted it. I'll never drink that stuff again. So I was in Cincinnati, which is one of the famous places where you can get some of the best bourbon, apparently. I thought, well, when you're in Spain, be like the Spanish. When you're in Cincinnati, be like the Cincinnatians. Is that what they're called?
Cincinnatians? Yeah, we're Cincinnatians, yeah. Okay,
we'll go with that. And I thought, I have not tried bourbon. Get out of yourself and try it. See what it's like. I actually quite liked it now.
Now, what's interesting is Kellen and I shared a drink in Cincinnati, and it was over bourbon. So
it was. That was such a highlight. I mean.
So yeah, I mean.
But it was just like it seems so appropriate to have a nice bourbon, really good. We have a good bourbon. I mean,
for the record, I got since I am going to be traveling with Visit Cincy in a few weeks, we are a beer town. The Cincinnati side of the river, but the Kentucky side of the river, northern Kentucky, that's part of the Cincinnati metropolitan area, is considered the head of the bourbon trail. So we have both a beer and a bourbon culture. And so we also probably have an AA culture too. So.
We've got all bases covered.
Yeah.
I think I live there. I need that AA culture for both.
I went again. We went on an excursion with the conference I was at in Cincinnati. I think we went across the river to a brewery.
You probably went over to New Riff.
What's that?
You probably went over to New Riff Distillery, I'm gonna guess.
I have their shirt, but I'd have to go into laundry and get it.
No, you can only leave the one.
I could have worn it, but it was a really interesting place. You had to climb up a lot of stairs to get up to the actual.
Sounds like New Riff to me.
Yeah, and it's you could play that game.
Cornhole.
Yeah, that's it. Play cornhole up there. Great big high ceilings, a beautiful little bar, a really old building. The bus or train or whatever it was parked right outside it. It was brilliant. It was a really nice place. If I had known Cincy was so interesting, I would have planned to stay longer, but I didn't.
I'm a fan. I love Cincinnati.
I got to go to a ball game. Got to see the Reds play. They didn't win, but I got to go to a ball game. We were up in the special people's, not special needs, but special people's place, where they have events, and it was wonderful.
Well, our other Megamind buddies, Randy and Wes, were in Cincinnati this past week at a conference as well.
Cool.
But they were, they were next level sharks this week, and they didn't have time for me. So, I'm not upset. They definitely told me in advance. I met both of them on a previous trip to Cincinnati, though. So back early in 21. So Randy's like, I got to focus on booking some business, and that's the kind of guy he is, So
that's what our whole group was about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
we helped each other a lot.
We did.
But yeah, Cincinnati's been a great hub for meeting the Megamind. I don't know how that worked out, but it's worked out great. So
yeah.
Coach, you've been amazing today. I mean, I just, like you said, we got about 7 more podcast topics now to do based on our conversation with you to add on to the 3 or 4 that I had from when I was on your show earlier this week. So
that's 10.
Okay, so did you see I thought of it. Remember how we have a question?
Mm-hmm.
I thought of what our question should be.
Is that it?
No, that's not it. It's a question. That was a statement, Brian.
All right. No, well, was that the question we just did, or
no? It's since it's about writing.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite book? Or is that too cliche?
Yeah, I think it's perfect for what we're doing here. Or your favorite author.
I love, because when I'm on shows or listening to other shows and they give me a book recommendation, 9 times out of 10 I will download it or buy it.
Yeah, I don't have just one. So
well, you can have more than one.
I can have more than one.
Well,
one would be Smart Talk, or any book that's written by Lou Tice. He only wrote 2. And the one's really hard to get hold of. So Smart Talk is really good. He talks about cognitive behavioral change, and a real life story with his wife overcame cancer. When they said that she wouldn't, then she did. So it's really good on how to change the way we think, changes how we live. And then I've been a big fan of Dan Sullivan. He's also another coach. He has a company called Strategic Coach, and a bunch of really good books that he has co-authored. He didn't write much of it, but he's involved with them. Those are my 2 current favorite ones right now.
Cool.
Well,
thank you for
Smart Talk forever never will not be a favorite, because I still utilize what I learned from Lou Tice. Okay. One more plug. I went to LA, and I don't have his book here, but
wait, I have it. Hold on.
Okay, you hold it up. And
all right, somebody's leaving the show again.
Everybody's leaving the show. Oh, wait, I have
this has become so common. Where did Coach go?
Now we lost Coach.
Okay, here.
So I had the opportunity.
I feel left out now.
I had the opportunity to meet this author a couple of weekends ago, and he is living the principles out of
Think and Go Rich.
This book, and he's an advocate of that. He's a big fan of the Napoleon Hill Foundation as well. And if you wanted to get involved with what he's doing, you could go to winwithramy.com and hang out with him and us on the weekends. And they go through the book and talk about things, and he shares his knowledge. And he's a very wealthy man. He's had adversity to overcome because of the color of his skin, his name, and a whole bunch of different things. So,
but he's genuine and authentic, according to what I've heard from you.
Oh, he's amazing, all of that. But we were there for an experiment where he was hoping that one of us that was there going to offer up an idea for business, and he wanted to use that to coach and mentor us all on. And we all, by being there and buying a ticket at this event, would have been sharing in the success of it if it had been put onto the stock market shares. So that's what he was looking for, something he could scale. Nobody came up with one that he felt was suitable for that environment, but he said, the ideas that we read, they're all good, go do them. So it's not really a good model for the experiment. So if you want your money back, it's not what you thought it was we'll do it. So I know he's done that, and it was right away. There was no hesitation. He did it immediately. But if you liked it, then you could hang in there, because one of the things he's all about is when you when you create an opportunity to get investors involved and get them to financially support you, you make sure they win first, and then you win. So they profit, and then you profit, and that's the way he lives. He demonstrated that by saying, if you want your money back, you can have it back, or with the ticket, instead of having this business we thought we were going to do, we have this other business that we're just starting up. It's pre-IPO. And if you want, you go the ticket, same deal that we offered you on the other business will go in towards this. So right now I have a small fraction of ownership, shares-wise, in a company called EV Mobility. And cool. EV Mobility is renting e-cars from your hotel. So I won't go into the whole thing, but it's a fascinating story. And that was how he pivots. He wanted to make the opportunity that he talked about a win for us first. And he did that. And when you talk to him when he's there, he's just average Joe guy, T-shirt and blue jeans, easy to talk to, great with his message, comes from his heart. He just wants to help people think properly. Not what to think about, but how to think. And if you live the principles that the brilliant guy Napoleon Hill got, because he was coach, mentored, and offered the opportunity by Andrew Carnegie, and he worked for free for 20 years. And, do more than you're paid for, and you'll be looked at. And there was evidence of that. I'm not going to go into it, but there was evidence of that at that event as well. I met one of the guys that helped Remy when he was in his state of poverty. So Henrik was a valet with, I think, the Marriott Hotel. And Ramy needed a place to go to before they'd let him out of the hospital, because he'd be in there for mental health issues. He got a doctor that lined him up with somebody with drugs that he should not have been on, like antidepressants, and he wanted to just get back to his normal life. So he needed somebody that would kind of be his caregiver. So that was Henrik. So Henrik left being a valet, hung out with Remy, and now Henrik is a millionaire and is doing partner business with Remy because he showed up and did more than he was paid for.
So now I have 15 more show ideas. So
I know that would be my favorite. To give more than you're paid for.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, I know all three of us try to do that in what we do. So.
Yeah, it's definitely a life method that it's easy to forget sometimes.
Yeah, but not Coach Phil.
Not Coach Phil.
But I'm not easy to forget.
No, your philosophy. Oh God, we'd never forget you. Oh my God.
That's good.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think we are at our hour mark. Thank you so much
Thanks, Coach.
for waiting.
My pleasure, my honor to be here and hang out with you guys.
You will be back next year, next season. We got 15 shows lined up for you. So
yeah. I've got the calendar right here.
Awesome.
Well, I don't know. Should we just tell people to leave the screen and then that's how they actually?
I know we need to come up with a nice like
transition to kick people off the show. I don't know how we do that.
We'll see you in the green room.
We'll see you in the green room, Coach.
Okay.
So if you got time, so
we'll understand if it's an empty seat, we'll get it.
Hey, we're gonna give you some time to get your third cup of Tim Hortons. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Go out to coachphil.ca, Profit and Mastery. Did I get that right?
Profit and Grow BusinessMastery.com.
Profit and Go and get his ebook. It's a great ebook. So thank you, Coach, and we'll see you next time.
Yay. That was fun.
That was a blast. Coach is always a good time, always has some gem that you're never expecting.
And so much knowledge. I mean, I don't even think we hit the tip of the iceberg with.
No, not at all. I mean, every time I talk to him, there's like another avenue that I hadn't even considered. So,
and it's funny that you talked about like you feel like you owe him money when you're done talking to him. I do. I'm like, oh my God, he just gave me counseling.
So I was like, should you just have like an invoice on your podcast?
Like a PayPal thing.
You owe me $1,000 for that one.
So this is the end. So we've just completed our first month of the Right Spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
How fun was that?
That was a blast. So we had 5.
It was like not only entertaining, but people got something from it and they're learning from our authors. Next month I've got all the books right here. Want me to go through?
All right. Yeah. Let's
have Alan
talk about our next guest. Oh my gosh.
This is his novel. But he also does trainings for active shooters, and he's got that's probably, I don't have that book, but he'll probably want to talk about that. And then the next week we have Steve Rizzo.
I love Steve.
He's an awesome guy. I love him. And then Debbie Bettendorf.
Love Debbie. I've seen her on
Hide Your Fabulous.
I think I've seen her on Randy's show.
And
Building
then
Wins.
Barry, I just met couple months ago, and he's a love coach, so that seems appropriate. I mean, talk about the diversity of our interviews. I'm trying to make it super diverse and fun and not entertaining and educational.
Well, that's what I think. As we're talking about people who want to write a book, and it's like you underestimate what you know. You just don't, and what like the back of your hand, I don't know.
Right.
And so,
like how to turn your video on.
Yeah, I mean, I was able to troubleshoot that with you over FaceTime.
Minutes, where I tried for 40.
Now, should I have had my phone here sitting next to me, maybe we would have solved that. But that was my mistake this morning. So
I forgive you for that. But and I am trying to get Remy on too. So.
Yeah, we have some other ones. We'll post it. Head over to the Right Spotlight.com and we'll let you know who's coming up next. It'll give you a link to our YouTube channel. We'd love for you to sign up. That helps us out. therightspotlight.com. That'll get you there. Also, you can sign up for our newsletter updates as well. So we'll give you a reminder we're going live. So many options, but ideally you follow us on YouTube. That's the best place to catch our show and see these amazing authors.
I know.
And just, we're blessed to know these people and to be able to bring them to you. So.
And if you have questions, shoot us a message and we will answer them or find the person to answer them.
Or if you have somebody you think would be good for the show, send us a note.
And send us a book.
Yeah, send us a book. That makes it easier.
Yeah. Well, right now I got 3 books for next.
However, if you send us a book, it does not guarantee you a spot legally on our show.
Oh yeah.
I gotta do a disclaimer. Yeah. But it does make it easier for me to actually have you on the show because I have your book right here. But I'm still trying to make sure I have all. I'm unpacking. I'm getting there. So maybe in October we can show up and have a show that starts on time, has the right graphics, has. We're getting there.
Are good. I mean, I like our new intro now, so I really like that. So, and I really appreciate you pulling this together with no notice and putting up with my lack of technology knowledge. I'm
going to start the right podcast. So, the right podcast or what the podcast spotlight. That's to teach people how to do a podcast on the fly next. Right?
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah.
No, this has been great, Kellen. And you've been getting our guest, been working on this in the background. So, we're in great shape. I think so. Coach Phil's back in the green room and he's probably waiting for us to say hello here. So
I know, but I just want to, but the other thing is we need to let people know that you are the guy that gets them a person that wants to write a book across the finish line. So you need to, if you're thinking you have a book in your head and you need to get it out. Oh wait, where did my screen go? My screen just went blank. Am I still here? Okay.
You're still here.
Get your book to cross that finish line. You need to talk to my friend, Brian.
And then once you're over the finish line and you want to get it in the hands of influencers and people that can get you on radio shows, Cards at Wow, Kellen Ann, she has some great products to
magazines.
And she's got this video box that you can send your book in and you will get a phone call. And you'll probably be on somebody's podcast if you send that out. So
amen.
She's a marketing expert. She helps you get that stuff in the right hands. So I get you to the finish line and she takes you to the bestseller line. So
I love that. Well, folks, we thank you for watching. If you're watching us on the replay, be sure to let us know. Let us know where you're watching from. And we can't wait to see you next week.
See you next week. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.